Verbal reasoning, but before that, I just want to reiterate how language structures draws background knowledge. So again, they're intertwined and they're connected, and they use verbal reasoning to draw information about word meaning. All right, we have verbal reasoning. So verbal reasoning is a process by which our brains make sense of what we read and hear. So it's not just for what we're writing, but how we make reason out of the stuff that we're reading. So that pertains to the information that is presented to you. So that's considering what the information is sharing and considering what information is missing and being able to make inferences based off of those things. And also it can be interpreting abstract language, right? Integrating ideas within and across text and interpreting abstract knowledge. So sometimes the things that we read, narrative writings, can be a little bit abstract, and it is important to have a form of the skill of verbal reasoning to kind of make sense of language that is a little bit abstract. And also, in order to make inferences, to draw into a conclusion based off facts or evidence. And then metaphors, understanding a word or phrase used to say something in another thing in order to suggest that they are similar. Metaphors are used a lot in narrative writing, and so if someone is saying like your eyes are like the sun and the moon or something like that, it's important to know that, okay, this means that this person thinks fondly of the other person because this metaphor that they created, and to, make appropriate inferences based off these metaphors. Then there's literacy knowledge. Literacy knowledge is the understanding of the purpose, features, and conventions of text. So what does that look like? So that means recognizing whether an author is describing, comparing, linking cause and effect. Is there a problem and a solution? Is this text sequencing steps or events? And this is important because you need to have a certain mindset or a certain type of thinking in order to interpret these texts. So right here it says why. So why is this important? It reveals the author's purpose and allows one to focus attention better on the key information of the content. In addition, it will be easier to interpret the text. So it's easier to know what you would be looking for. So there's like a bunch of like anchor charts and things that we can use to support students. So there's like describing, there's all these different type of like questions, organizational skills, signal words for sequencing. There's first, next, finally. If you see these words, then you know that it's a sequence type of text. And then there's problem and solution. And there's like these signal words, questions. And so it's important for students to know this because it makes it easier for them to know what stuff that they're looking for when they're reading a passage. All right, so far I've already went through this section right here, through language comprehension. And now I'm going to be moving on to word recognition. And word recognition has 3 elements under it. Those 3 elements are word recognition, decoding, and sight recognition. All right, so this next slide is about how decoding and comprehension kind of support each other. And so reading consists of listening comprehension skills as well, not just writing, but listening comprehension skills, combined with decoding skills. So we need both, they need to be integrated in order to become a skilled reader. And this is from the simple view of reading. Decoding is the ability to apply your knowledge of letter-sound relationship, including knowledge of letter patterns to correctly pronounce written words. And this also includes the alphabetic principle, a letter or letters that represent a sound. So what those consist of is phonics, so word study, syllable structure, morphology, etymology. To be able to read, a student has to be skilled at both decoding and comprehension. All right, now there is sight recognition. Sight recognition is the ability to see a word and automatically recognize it effortlessly and unconsciously when you see it in print. So not only high frequency words or sight words, but those words that you have decoded already, that you've mastered, So it's important to know that they're not just sight words that, you know, kids usually come home and they have like a list. It's an array of words that they should be able to automatically know when they come across them. When readers acquire sight recognition, sight vocabulary, they can allocate most of their cognitive resources to draw meaning. So this just creates how we were talking about vocabulary, and if you like lack vocabulary, then it's gonna be a tougher time to comprehend what you're reading. So this is kind of correlated with vocabulary as well. And that's it for the Scarborough's reading rope. We learned that skilled reading has a lot of different intricacies and things that go into it to become a skilled reader, and that they're divided into 2 sections, and language comprehension increasingly becomes strategic, word recognition increasingly becomes automatic, and that there needs to be a good understanding of all of these, and all these are super important to contribute to a skilled reader, which is a fluent execution and coordination of word recognition and text comprehension.